Hello people, allow me to take you on an adventure today with me again, this time with Kamikaze pre-workout by Warrior Labs, sent down to us kindly by Supplements for Muscle. And we'll be covering all the usuals, the taste, the price, the label and the effects. But first of all, let's just take a little look at this one, because I'm going to set it off with a little bit of a spoiler, but it says it's got DMHA and DMAA. Is it really going to have those things though? Because a lot of the time when they say they have these things, they're telling porky pies. It looks like an interesting one. It says here on the side, increase muscle mass. I mean, I don't know about the pre-workout doing that, but if you're going to go to the gym after taking the pre, then yeah, I can see the logic in that. And we got pre-workout stimulation, fair. Protection of muscle mass, arguable. Increased resistance of the body to the onset of fatigue. These claims are creasing me up. Improving regeneration, Wolverine style. Fat increased supply of nutrients to the muscles burning. Wow. I've got to say, I think that's the most interesting set of claims I've ever seen on a pre-workout. Not to say that they're all not true, but they're just very specific, you know, very specific. It says here, Kamikaze contains caffeine, tyrosine, taurine, beta-alanine, strong stimulants, which with their synergistic effect enhance the effects of the main components of the product. In addition, they carry important qualities that have earned respect. Caffeine relieves muscle pain and has stimulating effects. Tyrosine delays fatigue. Taurine has similar properties to insulin, and beta-alanine helps increase muscle endurance. After a long, tiring and hard workout that this product guarantees, muscle cramps can occur. Shit, that's the first time I've seen a pre-workout pre-warning you, no pun intended, that you're going to be getting cramps after training on it. Let's hope that this is a legit one, that some of these claims are true, that some of these ingredients will come into fruition. That's what we're hoping. But without any further ado, let's get on to the first segment, which of course is taste. Oh, here we go, it's tasty time. And we've got the flavour green apple. A nice basic one there, nothing too fancy. And I'll put up on the screen any other flavours it comes in. Mixability wise, it's actually not bad. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't look bad at all, does it? And it looks rather translucent, you know, no heavy dyes being used from what I can tell. Let's give it a go. Yeah, a straight down the line, simple green apple with a slight sweetness to it. There's no sourness, there's surprisingly no nastiness coming through. So I'll take my hat off to them. I won't eat my hat on this occasion. There's almost a slight fizz to it as well, believe it or not. Anyway, I'm gonna neck it and just get it in me straight up, and then I'll give you a score, so 2 seconds. That was surprisingly easy to drink. If I'm rating it on doability, like how easy it is to just get it down your neck, I'd give that a 10. Like, that was zero struggles, like seriously easy. From a flavour standpoint, it's kind of dull, kind of soft, kind of diluted. Obviously you could use less water, but still, even then, it just doesn't taste too strongly flavoured, which could be a good or a bad thing. It's not like they need to flavour it more, because like I said, I'm not getting any nastiness come through on the back end, which is surprising with the ingredient choices they've used, because there's a lot in it, a lot of nasty, hard stimulants. Anyway, all of that aside, taste is the least important. I will give it, for the flavour, I'll give it a solid 8 out of 10. Like, I think it's not bad at all. It's not delicious, but it's so doable, that has to earn it some points. Okay guys, it will be price time any minute now, so bear with me. Okay, so as I mentioned, you'll head over to supplementsformuscle.com, where you can use our discount code BROS5, knocks off 5%. It's not much, but every little helps, doesn't it, in this economy. So it's a full 30 serving tub, which we enjoy, and you can pick it up using our discount code for £34.45, and that comes to £1.15 per the serving. And on our consistent price scale, where a 5 out of 10 is the bang average price point, this comes in at a solid 7.5 out of 10. So It's actually priced a decent amount better than your average price point on the market for your typical pre-workout. So yeah, let's see what sort of pre we're getting for this money. I'll go through the label when I've parked up outside the gym because I'm only a few minutes away now. But yes, it could potentially be good bang for buck if it lives up to the label claims. But yeah, catch you guys in a bizzle. So let's get into this label, shall we? So it says here 13 gram serving amount, which is probably around about the average, maybe slightly under for your typical mainstream pre-workout serving amount, but that's not the be all end all. I'll tell you what else makes me laugh is it does say on here, professional manufacturing technology, certified product for European market, good manufacturing quality, the GMP quality thing, 100% guaranteed customer satisfaction, like all of these like stamps of approval type things down there, but it's got literally banned ingredients in it, so both cannot be true, can they? At least as far as I know. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? So taurine is up the top, and this label is all over the place, by the way. There's no rhyme or reason. I mean, you can see it on the screen. The dosages and the ingredients are just all over the shop, so just bear with me. Taurine at a gram, typical dose you see, jack of all trades, amino acids, going to help with your hydration pumps, some mood, focus type benefits and energy production within the body. Then we've got N-acetyl-L-tyrosine at 600 milligrams, a bit of a low dose, like to normally see at least a gram, so it probably have very minimal effect, but it should help with your focus and concentration. Again, then we've got caffeine anhydrous, 200 milligrams, which is a relatively low dose. You know, you normally see around the 350 mark, so yeah, substantially less than what you would expect to see, but it's about, it's kind of like a strong energy drink, I suppose. It'd be enough to wake up your average Joe and get you moving, but I'm sure there's more stimulants coming, so do not fear. Then we've got citrulline malate. We don't know the ratio, 1 to 1, 2 to 1, so we'll assume worst case scenario at 1 to 1. And yeah, it's 2.5 grams the whole thing, so you're going to be getting about a gram or so of L-citrulline, and let's be honest guys, it's just not going to cut it. It's not going to do anything really, but what it should do is help to bump up nitric oxide levels, increasing blood flow and pump, but minimal AF, if anything, at that dose. And then we've got tri-creatine malate at 1800 milligrams, which is a very interesting choice of creatine. It's not one that you often see, but the name tri, it's obviously 3 different versions of creatine thrown into one, but the dose is so low that it's probably not going to do much of anything, so do not skip your standalone creatine dose for this, is what I'll say. And as we've always said, we don't mind creatine in pre's if it's in a daily driver type pre, and if it's in there at a good dose, and neither of those boxes are ticked here, unfortunately. But as you guys know, creatine should help with your strength and pumps, athletic performance in general. Then we've got beta-alanine at 2 grams, which is, you know, it's a lower dose of what we'd like to see. Normally like to see 3.2 grams as a minimum daily intake. It's another amino, and it should help with your endurance when it builds up in your system, but it's famous for that itchy tingly sensation effect when it kicks in. So yeah, not an ideal dose, but it should still be enough to at least give a couple of tingles, fingers crossed, for those of you who like it. Then we've got AAKG at 2.5 grams, which is going to pair up with the L-citrulline to bring about a bit more help with, a bit more aid with the pumps and endurance. Then we've got dimethylhexylamine at 100 milligrams, which is the DMHA component of this pre-workout. Another banned ingredient, a banned stimulant. It should help to increase your energy, focus and drive and bring about some potential euphoria. And 100 milligrams is a relatively modest dose, but there's a reason for that. Then we've got agmatine sulfate at 800 milligrams. Normally like to see at least a gram, if not a gram and a half for this ingredient. But again, it should pair up with the aforementioned pump ingredients like the L-citrulline and the AAKG to bring about a bit more nitric oxide production, pumps and blood flow. Yeah, but don't hold your breath, because this isn't the type of pre that you'd buy for the pumps anyway, and these dosages just aren't really cutting it. So yeah, that's just my opinion so far. Then we've got the classic 1 to 3 dimethylamine HCl 100 milligrams, which is the DMAA component of this pre-workout, as stated on the front there. A really substantial dose for DMAA, bearing in mind that it used to be in the Jack 3D allegedly at about 30 milligrams. So yeah, if it's in here at 100 milligrams, there'll be no questioning if you can feel it. You will just straight up have your head blown off. So especially with the DMHA in there as well, we're talking some serious business here. Then we've got your yohimbine extract, 98%, 5 milligrams. It's a fat burner. It's not alpha yohimbine, so fear not. It's not that one that brings about really nasty, drooly, sweaty, jittery type effects. This one is a bit more moderate, but it is still yohimbine at the end of the day, so it will still have a stimulatory effect, some fat burning potential benefits there, and just get you a bit more revved up. Then we got arginine nitrate, 500 milligrams, a really low dose, so it's going to help again with a bit more pump element. With all the other underdose pump ingredients that I've already mentioned, I'd much rather than just like condense the label down, put less in it from an ingredient standpoint, but then what ingredients are in here, just actually dose them clinical or above. That's just my 2 cents, and I know they're going down the synergistic approach as I've discussed earlier what the label says. But even so, like, yeah, synergy can only take you so far when what you really need is just clinical doses to get the job done, in my opinion. But anyway, bit of a hodgepodge label. Oh, sorry, I didn't mention there's vitamin B6, B12, niacin, magnesium, potassium, sodium, chromium, vitamins and minerals at the bottom there, just going to help with your general energy production within the body, you know, get your muscles firing and contracting as they should be. Hydration, all that good stuff. But yeah, as I say, interesting label. It's a bit all over the place. It's largely underdosed, but you buy these pre's for the extreme stimulation potential, don't you? But ultimately they really are banking on the stimulants coming through in this pre-workout. Like, that's the real selling point of it, if it does have one. So yeah, I'll be back after my gym session to let you know if it's the real deal or if you should kamikaze this one. Kaya! I've been playing too much Ghost of Tsushima. It's time! Guys, tell me who says that if you know, because I'll give you a clue. He was in Naked Gun. Not the main character either. If you're into your fighting, then you'll know who that is. Right, effects time of kamikaze. Let's get into it. So, let's start off like we always do with the beta-alanine. It's in there at an underdosed amount compared to normal. How much did it kick in? Honestly, not that strongly. I would say 2 or 3 out of 10 on the tingle scale. So yeah, you get a couple of tingles, but nothing too potent, which, as I always say, could be a plus or a negative depending on your preferences. And again, it's not a point you'd buy the pre for either. Let's get pumps out of the way just nice and quickly, because it's not the main thing we're going to be discussing here. But I actually got good pumps on this pre, and I do not for 1 second attribute that to the label. I fully attribute that to the work ethic it gets you putting in. It's one of those ones, as a lot of these high stim pre's are, it's one of those kind of scenarios where like you're just so focused and stimulated that it gets you training hard. So pumps were good, but not because of the pre directly. Indirectly, yes. Still, again, not the best pumps I've ever had, but better than you would expect. So let's move on to the main reasons you buy this pre, and that is the 2 other elements we look for besides pump, which is energy and focus. So let's just get straight into it, because they are going to overlap a lot, obviously. Even they overlap into the pumps, as I've just mentioned. Kind of a trifecta, if you will. So if I can get around these cars doing half the speed limit, I'll be able to build up a bit of momentum. The energy, I'd say it lasts a good few hours. There's no peaks and troughs and jitters and nastiness, and there's no crash or come down as far as I've experienced it in the times I've used it. What I would say is that it's surprisingly quite a nice usable amount of energy. But it's not all good news, guys, because as I say in a lot of these DMHA, DMAA type reviews, it's not in there. And that's annoying, because I kind of feel like they make a rod to their own back when they do this, because if it didn't claim DMAA and DMHA on the label and it just had a different label with like a bunch of nootropics in it that were all well dosed, I would probably come away and say, yep, I really like this pre-workout, go ahead and buy it. It had me dialed in seriously, like training hard. I felt good on it. I didn't feel like mood elevated or anything or euphoric, but I felt really focused. You know, I'd be angling the effects a bit different. But because I know that they're putting DMAA and DMHA on the label, and it's obviously not in there, as far as I can tell, it kind of, yeah, like I say, they're making a rod throwing back, because the effects are good, but going off the label, it's not the effects we're expecting. So you kind of have to hold them accountable for that. A little bit conflicted, because I've had a good gym session every time, you know, I feel super locked in, dialed in. It's another one of these pre-workouts that just feels like a really strong nootropic. But as I say, trust me, I know what DMHA and even DMAA in the early days feels like, and I'm not getting either of those feelings from this. So yeah, I think it's a scenario where they're trying to recreate a DMHA, DMAA type feel, but by using other ingredients that aren't obviously necessarily disclosed on the label, and then they're putting it under the guise of DMAA and DMHA for the hype element, obviously, because other ingredients aren't going to get the same hype as putting DMAA, DMHA. So I think that's where the discrepancy comes from, in all honesty. I will have to admit, it's one of the better pre-workouts I've used from a fake label standpoint. Like, it's better than my recent ones that I've reviewed that are claiming certain things but aren't living up to them. So yeah, part of me wants to shit on this pre-workout and say, oh, they're lying to us on the label, it's all fake, and I wouldn't recommend buying it because they're lying, and part of me wants to say, do you know what, it's a good pre, I've had a good gym session every time, it gets you training hard, and you know, what more do you want at that point? From a pre-workout standpoint, like you take pre-workouts to have a good gym session, and I had a good gym session. So that's where I'm a little bit conflicted. I hope you can sort of see where I'm coming from. So swings and roundabouts, it depends what angle you want to look at it from. I think the only way I can put it clear cut is that I would recommend buying it if you're someone that's not put off by false labels, but I wouldn't recommend buying it if you're someone that is fussed by that, obviously. And me personally, I am fussed by that, because you know, I just want to be knowing exactly what I'm taking in my body, and I don't like to know that I'm being lied to either about what it is allegedly that I'm taking. I'd like to know straight up what I'm taking at what dosages, clear cut, no mucking around, no smoke and mirrors, no baloney. No baloney sandwiches for me, thank you very much. So yeah, it's kind of down to your own discretion, guys. What I will say is for the price point, you're getting a good bang for your buck where the effects are concerned. And now, I'm not saying that you're getting good dosages or a good label, bear that in mind. I'm not saying that for the price point. I'm ignoring that, and I'm saying you're getting good effects for the price point, in terms of it really does G you up, you get a sufficient amount of usable energy, you get dialed in. Like, as I say, you get good effects on this pre-workout, and they actually creep in quite stealthily. Like, it's not one that you take and then suddenly you're like, whoa, like a blanket has come over you. It's actually a bit of a creeper. Like, it takes a few sets and then you're like, fucking hell, I'm pretty damn dialed in here, which stands even more to reason and backs up my thought process even more so about it being a nootropic feeling pre-workout, like a modafinil, Adderall, although I'd be a bit cautious to compare it to Adderall because I've not actually used that myself, and I do understand that's one of the stronger ones that you can take. So yeah, but yeah, it feels like a potent, focused based nootropic with no euphoria or floaty feeling, so it's not a fun muck around pre by any stretch, but it is, however, a serious pre. So what I'd say is, if you're going for like a PB, you particularly want a good gym session, you want to lift heavier, impress your mates or impress yourself, then this could be a good pre-workout. So yeah, guys, from a label standpoint, what would I recommend the company to do? As I say pretty much all the time with these kinds of pre's, scrap the label, condense it down, put sufficiently dosed ingredients in there, make it transparent and honest, and you know, people will still buy your pre-workout. It's just a shame that the market's going this way, where these companies are their hand is almost being forced, and I'm not making excuses for them at all, but their hand is kind of being forced to a certain degree because they're worried that their pre's won't sell if they do an honest label. So they're almost backed into a corner where they think, right, the only way this pre's going to get any traction and interest is if we use some buzzwords like DMHA, like DMAA. So it's a slippery slope, but yeah, regardless of whether I understand their methods or their reasoning, I don't concur to it, and that's the important thing to note. I'm just thinking of, you know, openly, and outside the box, and considering all perspectives, you know, the consumer, the company, yada yada yada. But anyway guys, I've waffled enough, nearly 10 minutes I think. Hopefully I can edit it down a little bit. But yeah, I would say I can't honestly say avoid it, buy it or shortlist it because of the nature of the pre-workout it is, but as I've already sort of touched on that anyway, like buy it if it sounds right to you and you're not bothered by the points I've brought up, but avoid it if you are bothered by them. Like, I can't put it any more simple than that guys. But yes, that is my review of Kamikaze pre-workout. A bit of a yin-yang opinion, I suppose. But yes, let me know your thoughts down below. Have you used it? Do you want to use it? Anything else you want to see us review, let us know down below. Oh, and also do check out Supplements for Muscle, because they are one of the only hardcore retailers that we work with that ship all over the place and have hardcore pre-workouts. So yeah, I know some of them are hit and miss, and you know, that's what our reviews are for, and we're always going to keep it honest. But you know, they do have some bangers on there as well. It's just about knowing what bangers to keep your eyes peeled for, you know, what to go for, being informed at the end of the day. Because most supplement company or retailers, should I say, are going to have some good products, some average products, some bad products, and you know, it's our job to kind of help you fish through that that haystack to find the diamonds, so to speak. So yes, do still have a little looky over there, and our discount code does work on everything, and we get no benefit from that. So you know, it's not any smoke and mirrors type dealio from that standpoint. Like, I've got no horse in the race. But anyway, I'm waffling now. I'm bored of my own voice. Hope you enjoyed the review, and I will catch you in the next one. Stay stimmed, but take your stim breaks too.